What's going on, guys? So, do you guys remember that Ben Simmons guy? One of the most promising young prospects in the NBA. Career fell off a cliff because he was scared of the three-point line. We might quite literally be seeing a player who is the complete opposite of Ben Simmons. Someone who is not allergic to the three-point line, but is addicted to it. But before we get into the video, please make sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoy this video. And please subscribe if you guys want to see more. It motivates me to get more videos out to you guys and lets me know that you guys actually like what I'm putting out. So that player that I'm talking about so far has been a complete statistical anomaly in his career. And that player is Igor Demin from the Nets. So Igor Demin was the 8th overall pick in the draft this year, drafted by the Nets out of BYU. And at BYU, he was a 6'8" facilitating point guard. That was like his main thing. Like, he was a great facilitator. And so going into the draft, a lot of people thought, oh wow, this guy's 6'8", but he actually has point guard skills. This isn't like we're going to play a Jeremy Sohan at point guard or we're going to play a Cooper Flagg at point guard. This guy had legit point guard skills. So coming into the draft, everybody was like, whoa, 6'8" point guard. That's a crazy size mismatch out on the court at all times. We've seen Magic Johnson, we've seen Ben Simmons, we've seen the type of mismatch nightmare that they are when you can run a supersized point guard out on the court. And so the Nets drafted him 8th overall and were kind of hoping that he was going to be like their main facilitator, main guy to hopefully get them out of NBA garbageness that they're in right now. But unfortunately, I think Igor Demin has watched too much Steph Curry tape, because all he seems like he wants to do right now is shoot threes. So as I'm recording this video, the Nets are 0-7, and Igor Demin has played in 6 of those 7 games so far. And through his first 4 games, he has not taken a 2-point shot. He's taken 22 shots in his first 4 games. All of them are 3-pointers. So this makes him only the 4th player in NBA history to log at least 15 minutes, 3 points, 1 assist, and no 2-point shots. We're quite literally seeing a statistical anomaly right now. So to give him the benefit of the doubt, he is shooting 38% from the 3-point line so far through the season, which is a huge step up from what he shot at BYU. He shot around like 27% for the season, I think. But at the same time, you got to get to the basket. Especially if you're a 6'8" point guard with a size mismatch like that. Like, I understand that the NBA went through a revolution, 5-10 years ago with the 3-point shot, making 3-pointers a lot more prevalent and a lot more important than they used to be. But at the same time, you need to be able to show people that you can get to the basket if you're going to want any sort of success. Because if you're only out there shooting threes, teams are just going to key in on you like a 3-point specialist, where they're face guarding you, grabbing you the whole time as you run around screens. And if you can't switch it up and get around them and get a layup or get a nice pull-up mid-range jump shot or just penetrate the defense, if a team can lock in on your 3-pointer, you're a non-factor out there. I know some people will argue like, oh, well, he'll just use his facilitating game in order to make an impact out there. But it seems like Demin's facilitating skills have just completely disappeared this year. The Nets brought him in and drafted him as high as they did to be the main facilitator. And so far, he's only averaging 2.5 assists per game. For a guy who's not trying to really get into the defense, suck the defense in, get them to collapse, and then finding shooters like Cam Thomas and Michael Porter, we know they like to shoot a lot. That's really worrisome as the guy who you brought in to be the main facilitator, to get looks for open guys. So after those first 4 games, I've seen multiple clips of teammates and the Nets head coach, Jordi Fernandez, saying, bro, we need you to get inside. They've been asked by the media, why is Igor Demin not stepping foot inside the 3-point line? And they've said he needs to be more aggressive getting inside. And so he's played 2 more games after those first 4. And ladies and gentlemen, he has shot in a 2-point shot. So in his next 2 games after those first 4, he played the 76ers, where he shot 2 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from the three-point line. And then Minnesota, where he shot 1 for 4 from the field and 0 for 2 from the three-point line. So he has now taken 4 two-point shots in his NBA career and in 26 three-point shots so far. And so it seems like maybe he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive, but so far we're still just seeing him take a couple two-point shots, but mostly three-pointers. It's hard for me as a fan to watch this because I was actually really high on Demon coming into the draft. I knew the skills were a little raw. He was more of a raw prospect, but I was just a fan of him simply because the supersized point guard is one of my favorite NBA unicorn archetypes that there is. Magic Johnson at a 6'9 point guard and Ben Simmons, who's like a 6'10 player who played a lot of point guard minutes for the 76ers. Those players were just so interesting to me because of the just mismatch that they are out on the floor. When your point guard, who usually is a very small player, is instead the height of like a small forward, power forward, that just adds one more player out on your team that can be a mismatch. It adds length and height on D and on offense. I was really rooting for Demon when he came into the NBA. I really want him to succeed, but if he can't be aggressive and take advantage of the natural mismatch that he has as a 6'8 point guard, he's never going to succeed in the NBA. In the Nets as a whole, it's really scary now because the Nets are 0-7 right now. Everybody knew coming into the year they were not going to be good. And we knew Michael Porter Jr. was going to get a lot of touches. We knew Cam Thomas was going to get a lot of touches. But the Nets also had 5 first-round picks in this draft. And so it was understood that they were just going to draft a lot of young prospects, and hopefully out of those 5, maybe 2 could work out. If we're getting really lucky, maybe 3. And so far, of those 5 first-round picks, it looks like 0 are working out. Their number 1 guy that they picked, their 8th overall pick, was Demon, who did miss a lot of training camp because of an injury and right now is on a minutes restriction. So we'll see what happens when that minutes restriction gets lifted. But right now, it is not looking good because they brought in Demon to be a tall 6'8 facilitator for the team. And right now, he's just turned into a ball-dominant three-point specialist. He's only averaging 2.5 assists, so he's not facilitating very much. Their next pick was Nolan Traore out of France, who, unfortunately, and I know this all too well, drew comparisons of Killian Hayes, and so far has looked like Killian Hayes out there, really hasn't been special. So then they picked Drake Powell, who hasn't really done much. So then they picked Ben Seraph, who so far has probably been their main starting point guard, with Igor Demon coming off the bench, and has looked worse than Demon so far, averaging only 3.5 points and 2.7 assists on 23% field goal percentage. And then their last first round pick was Danny Wolf, who unfortunately hasn't really gotten many minutes and hasn't really shown anything so far. And so not only is it scary for the Nets that their number 1 guy that they drafted, their first pick in the first round, has not really shown much, especially compared to other rookies. So far, this rookie class is being talked about as potentially one of the best rookie classes we could see. You have number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, generational prospect. Dylan Harper has looked very solid for the Spurs so far. VJ Edgecombe has looked really promising. He had a historic NBA debut, scoring 30 plus. Con Knipple at 4 looks solid so far. Trey Johnson has looked solid. Jeremiah Fears has had his moments. But overall, this top 10 has looked pretty dang good besides Igor Demon. So it's early in his career. Anybody would be an idiot to be like, no, this guy's a bust. 6 games into his career, I've seen all I need to see. He is a bust. And surprisingly, we do see that a lot on NBA Twitter and stuff like that. It is worrisome that this rookie class so far has been looking as potentially generational as they are. And the Nets' 8th overall pick has been an outlier in that group of rookies so far that looks amazing. And so, at this point, we just kind of have to wait and see. It looks like Igor Demon is finally getting a little more aggressive, You know, obviously there's a lot more time to tell if he's going to kind of turn it around. He's only been 6 games. He's still on that minutes restriction. So we just have to wait and see. But this start to an NBA career is genuinely a statistical anomaly and has not been good so far for the Nets. And as a team that's rebuilding and had a ton of draft picks, it's not what you want to see. It's not the start that you want your 8th overall pick to have. The Nets are going to be bad this year, but we got to see how their rookies this year develop and see if any of them can look like a focal point of this rebuild by the end of the year. Personally, I'm still rooting for him. I hope he turns it around because a tall point guard is one of my favorite things to see in the NBA. I love when you have these genetic anomalies. Seeing like a 6'8" point guard is just such a cool thing to see. And I will always love those guys no matter how good they are. So I'm still hoping Igor Deming can turn it around. But so far, it's not looking good. I mean, that's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to smash that like button. Lets me know that you guys like the videos that I'm putting out. And if you guys enjoyed and want to see more content like this, I make all things NBA. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you guys always see my newest videos. And I appreciate all the love and support that I've gotten so far. It's super motivating to see comments and likes and subscriptions. Really makes it easy to just keep pumping out these videos for you guys. So I appreciate all the love and support that I've gotten so far. But yeah, that's all I got for today. As always, peace and love, guys.